So I haven't streamed for a few days because we're still waiting to know if there's edits or anything on my current project. So I thought I'd go back and look at some puppets that I rigged previously that were kind of tricky to rig that took some experimenting. So this is Devante, and he was quite tricky because he's in a chair. So what I wanted was his torso to be able to move, his head to be able to move, his arms to be able to move, but the chair not move. So here he is. I did a little animating with him to test him out. So here's how he looks animated. So in this spot you could talk and use his arms and everything. So I thought it looked really good. However, I remember having great difficulties rigging the chair. So I thought, hey, why not challenge myself and try and re-rig it and see if I can remember how to do it, because I remember it being quite hard. So I think I rigged the chair the way I rigged the desks to not move. So let's go take a peek at the artwork. Everything's set up like normal except for the legs, which I just added to the chair artwork because I know the legs sadly aren't going to move. All right, so let's import and see how we go. Let's see. Where did I save it? Sharing experiments. Long hair. Devante chair. Alright, so I think I just started off like normal, so let's rename our draggers. Let's add a dragger. Let's go to our face behavior and rename it torso. Let's go to torso behavior and turn those down like normal. Okay. So frontal, I want to take this front. I just called it frontal just out of habit, even though it's not a frontal. And then I wanted him to pivot around there. Head, I want head. I'm going to add face behavior, and on that behavior I'm going to turn it way down again. And I don't think we had parallax on this one. Okay, in head I want to make my mask. Okay, so left arm I just did as normal. And he doesn't have a handset or anything because this was just an experiment. Luckily I have the old rigging to refer to if we don't get it to work, but yeah, it's nice to know how to make a layer not move if you don't want it to. Okay, and then let's make those draggable. Okay, and then let's apply auto blink and lim IK, but in lim IK we want to apply it only to arms, if I remember correctly. Okay, and then to rig the wheelchair, this is where it was hard. Okay, so on the parent layer you want the origin very low. On the named layer I want the fixed point fixed, and I want the origin above the fixed point. And then on frontal, that needs to be also above the fixed point, but where you want it to pivot. Okay, so, and then on body, I also had the origin very low. Okay, and then the chair itself is independent, attached below the fixed line, and hinge. Okay, so I think that's all I did, right? So head is done. He doesn't have any swap sets or anything. All right, let's pull it in and see. Yeah, it did work. So I don't know if it's to do with the origin points. I just remember it being really hard. So I'm rigging it kind of like a desk. The only thing I did different than how I normally rig the desk is make sure it was on hinge instead of weld. Here, let's scale him down so we can see him. And his arms and hands and everything still have all his mobility, as long as you got your jaggers alternate. Oh, I didn't put bones in that one, so that's why he's looking kind of weird. So yeah, that works. But I don't know why. If anyone is really good at Character Animator, could you tell me, is it the origin points? So here's my notes on how to make the chair not move. So on the parent layer, the origin has to be below the fixed line. On the named layer, that's where I put my fixed line. So I put it where I didn't want the chair to move. And the origin has to be above that fixed line. Then on frontal, I've got my pivot point also above that fixed line because it's there. And then on body, I have the origin point below the fixed line. Wheelchair I have made independent. I've made it hinge, and I've attached it below the fixed line. And it all works. And I don't know why it works. But that was exactly what I was looking for. So if you've got a guy in a chair, try that. Hopefully I've shown enough so that you can see how everything is set up. Oh, and I didn't make head independent like I normally do. Let's see if that breaks everything. So normally head's independent. Let's go back and make sure. Yeah, now I've got his head moving too. Sorry, I didn't notice that. So if we turn his torso tilt way down, head tilt strength, you'll see that now his head is moving too. So yeah, fairly easy, fast rig, but I remember it taking a lot of experiments on how to get the chair not to move. And then when I animated it, oops, let's go to the animated scene. I just used the transform tool to get him to move when I wanted him to. So the chair doesn't actually move. I didn't have to do walk or anything. So just you can see on the transform line that I'm just moving position X. So yeah, pretty cool. But if anyone knows more about Character Animator than me, why does that work for the chair? It's great that it works, but I'm not sure why. But that is basically all I have to stream this afternoon. I hope you have a great day, everyone. Cheers.